Hey guys, I'm D-Mac from NBA Fantasy Bible, and along with me, of course, is Kayla Fonte, and together we're Between Two Hoops. Kayla, how are you going?
I'm doing really well. How about you?
Doing really well. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. It's been a
Thank you.
minute. I think middle of December was our last show, so it has been a minute, but glad to be back. I was away on holidays. How was your break, by the way?
It was really good, just relaxing, so I'll take it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's get straight into our buy lows and sell highs. No mucking around. Let's do it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, starting with our most traded players in the last 24 hours. Number one, Jimmy Butler. A lot of controversy around him. It's looking like he won't be a member of the Miami Heat for much longer. And so that's just cause for concern for those that do have him, but also potential opportunities to buy low. And we'll discuss that later on. But yeah, he's the number one most traded player today. Any surprises there, Kayla?
Oh, there's a couple. Devin Booker, Bam. Laurie is no surprise to me at all. I mean, I think he's been on this list every time that you posted it.
Every time. Yes,
Every
every
time.
time.
Even Anthony Edwards, honestly, it doesn't really surprise me that much,
Yeah.
based on his play over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, particularly the last couple of games, he's just gone absolutely nuclear. So that's a sell high. So there's a nice combination of buy lows and sell highs on this list, but we'll give you our list as well. So these are the top 10 most traded per Yahoo. But let's take you guys through our buy lows, starting with J Dub. So Jalen Williams, we were massive on J Dub going into this season, but yeah, he sort of cooled off. And we'll go through the numbers very shortly. But yeah, very quickly, J Dub, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Giannis, James Harden, Pascal Siakam, Rudy Gobert, IQ, PG, and of course Jimmy Butler. But let's get straight into J Dub. Looking at his numbers, starting with his season numbers. Yeah, as we said, extremely impressive. That rank of 33, now that probably doesn't look as impressive as what you'd probably think. Now, just keep in mind that these numbers are coming courtesy of Hashtag Basketball. So thanks to the guys over at Hashtag Basketball. Check them out at hashtagbasketball.com. What I tend to do and what Hashtag Basketball does is downgrade or downweight turnovers. And that's because streaming is so prevalent, particularly in category leagues, but even in points leagues. But turnovers, 0.25, so not worth the 100%, but 25%. So keep that in mind when you look at these ranks as well. But across the season, still extremely solid, 33 for the season. But look at his rank over the last 14 days, 125th. And even in the last week, over the last 4 games, 116th. So outside the top 100, and it's really about the efficiency. And he was much talked about in terms of just being an efficiency master, an efficiency king, but we haven't seen that in the last fortnight.
Yeah, it really comes down to the free throw percentage too. His field goal percentage is starting to bounce back a little bit, and even the points. 20.6 for the season, but over the past 7 days, 15.5. The past 14 days, 16.6. I expect that to come back up. Obviously, Shea is the leading option for the Thunder, but he's really been complimenting him nicely. And it'll come back up, no problem. Even the threes, too, averaging almost one less per game over the past couple of weeks. It's going to come back up. J-Dub is not going to finish outside the top 100. I expect the top 30.
Yeah, I expect that as well. I don't think things will be complicated either when Chet Holmgren returns. That may actually help him get some more open looks as well. So let's see how that dynamic plays out. But for us, he's an absolute buy low opportunity right now. Next one, Jalen Brunson. So you look at his numbers for the season. Very good season so far. But the last 7 days, 92nd in category leagues. And again, just looking at the numbers, reduced in a couple of categories. Any standouts there, Kayla?
The main thing is 3-pointers. For the season, he's averaging 2.3. Over the past 7 days, 0.3. And the past 2 weeks, 0.7. That's not like him at all. That's going to turn around too, but that's the most glaring category here. And that's also a big thing for points leagues too, where they're worth a little bit more.
Yeah, you look at the overall points. He's taken way more 2-pointers, which is good. It's fine, but we do expect him to shoot a little bit more from the 3-point line as well. So the field goal percentage is also slightly down on his season average as well. So he can get that back up. So it is slightly. I think it is a buy low opportunity. So yeah, see what you can throw out there and go get you some at Jalen Brunson. Next, Donovan Mitchell, similar situation, last 7 days, down on his season average. Across the board or across the entire season, somewhat disappointing.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we were just talking about this before. He hasn't really blown us away this season, and you can even tell just by his ranking so far, 37th. That's not what people were expecting when they're drafting him with like their first or second pick. I don't think he's not going to finish obviously outside the top 50 or anything like that, but I'm not having huge expectations for him, especially with the amount of star power that the Cavs have right now, and other players are stepping up. And we'll talk about some sell highs on that team as well.
And do you think that's what it is? It's other guys like Evan Mobley stepping up and really taking some more shots away from Donovan Mitchell?
Honestly, I do. I think it is. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's had his moments when like other players are struggling, but even Darius Garland, he's been a lot better this season too. So I think it's definitely a factor.
Yeah, in a way, it shows the maturity of Donovan Mitchell that he doesn't have to be the man every single night, which is great for the team. And the Cavs are flying at the moment, but I guess not great for his fantasy value. So, still a buy low opportunity, but not as impressive as what we were hoping for this season from Donovan Mitchell. Next guy, Giannis. What can we say? He's been solid across the entire season. Nothing's really changed for him over the last, I guess, fortnight, except for the points.
Yeah, not really much difference this year. He also has missed a couple of games due to injuries, so that's also factoring into why he's a buy low. Looking at the percentages, he is down a little bit for the season. He's 60% shooting, but he was around 50% for field goal, even free throw too. I mean, he's not a great free throw shooter. We all know that, but it's significantly lower than where we expect him to be at, and the points as well.
Yeah, we know that when you have Giannis, you're going to punt free throws anyway, but it does impact those that are in points leagues as well. So just lowered output. I wonder if is it Chris Middleton as well? Is he taking away some of the shots, or is it just purely a little bit of injury, a little bit of missed time for Giannis?
I think it's more so just injury. I believe he missed like 3 or 4 games, so I'm just attributing it to that.
Yeah. All right. So still a solid buy low right now. James Harden. So he was flying. He still is flying, but we know that Kawhi has returned to the Clippers team. But what's happened in the last fortnight?
Yeah, it's been a little bit weird. I think he had one game where he only scored like 10 points, a couple of lower assists in his games, but those have remained pretty similar over the past 7 days to his season. Even the points, too, like to go from 21.6 to 16.3 over the last 7 days. And his free throw percentage, too, has been really surprising. I mean,
That's
when
the one.
you're hitting almost 90% and then you go to like 80 and then drop even more to like 73, that hurts.
That hurts, and you know that he's a high volume free throw shooter as well. But you look at the season averages, fantastic. That dark green is nice to see. But in the last 7 days, yeah, less than 75%, which is very atypical for James Harden. So expect that to pick that up. Pick back up. I don't think Kawhi Leonard being back in the team right now is really going to hurt him. He's just going to take a little bit of a more of a back seat and probably be more of the facilitator, which is still great for his value. But those massive point scoring games may be probably less frequent moving forward. Pascal Siakam, one of your old guys, but yeah, a real dip in form, particularly in the last fortnight.
Yeah, the free throw percentage has been rough. He's not a really big free throw guy either, but 64.7%, not too good. Even his field goal percentage usually hits over 50%, but now he's dropping to the mid 40s. Points
What's
have
going on with
dropped a
those
little bit.
defensive stats as well? It's just completely dried up.
That's the other thing, nothing at all. I think that's going to turn around too. I'm not super worried. He can usually grab you a couple of stocks per game. Not a big stocks guy, but at least a couple. So, not too worried though.
Yeah, not too worried at all. You don't think that the return of Aaron Naismith is going to impact things?
I think it will a little bit, but not significantly.
Not significantly. Next guy, Rudy Gobert. Now, he would have probably been top of our list if not for the last game where he huge rebound game and huge blocks game. I think he got 6 blocks in the last game last night.
Yeah, he looked fantastic yesterday. Even the rebounds too have been trending upwards, which is good. He had a handful of games where he failed to reach double-digit points or rebounds. We know that he's not a big points guy since he's averaging 10 per game, but he could still be a double-double threat. The blocks have looked good. Free throw percentage and the field goal percentage have not. They're trending
Yeah,
downwards.
yeah, I've been watching a bit of the Wolves games, and it looks a little bit pedestrian on offense, but that's not why you have Rudy Gobert. Yeah, it's nice to have the really strong field goal percentage, but you have him for those strong rebounds, for those strong blocks, and yeah, it's still been really solid. The overall rank of 92, again, that's deceptive, I guess, when we sort of down weight turnovers. We're used to him being closer to the mid rounds, but 92 was still a solid center ranking for him this season. Manuel quickly just came back. First game back, I think he got 14 assists. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Kayla, you should know as a Raptors fan.
He did. He looked really
Yeah, he
good
looked
in his return game.
really, really good. But yeah, look, I guess it's a slow ramp up, and this is why he's a buy low for me. I was massive on him coming into the season. Unfortunately, injuries have really wrecked his season up to this point. There's still a significant part of the regular season still to play out, so I still think he is a buy low.
Yeah, I agree with that too, and that's exactly why I'm not really that worried. He missed like a huge chunk of the season due to injury, so obviously he's still going to be ramping up, taking some time to get accustomed to the team and things like that. So not a major point of concern. I mean, he's looked really good in the assists, so we'll take that.
Yeah, we know that assists are quite difficult to find at times off the waiver wire. So Emmanuel, quickly, for those that did hold him, whether it be an IL or just copping some donuts week to week, I think you're going to be rewarded handsomely. Paul George, trending in the right direction. So not necessarily a buy low if you were just looking at those rankings, but I still think, 52nd in the last 7 days. I think he's better than that. So I think there's still room for improvement for PG.
Yeah, I think so too. And he's still a buy low just because managers are concerned about his health. So I think that's going to kind of stay with him throughout the season, but it's always going to factor into why he's a buy low.
Who would you rather? I'm just thinking of the 76ers. Who would you rather? Would you rather have Paul George on your team or his teammate, Joel Embiid?
Ooh, I would probably lean with Paul George. And call me crazy, but I just trust Paul George a little bit more than Embiid. I know what Embiid is capable of, but he
Yep.
just scares me a lot more with his injuries.
Yeah, it's sort of that per game versus totals debate, isn't it? I think we know that Embiid's going to sit a lot of games for the rest of the season. Who knows? Paul George will also sit, but I have more confidence, like you, more confidence in his health than I do with Embiid. Yeah, still a buy low opportunity for Paul George. And the last one, I put him on the list. I'm personally avoiding Jimmy Butler. I don't trust what's happening with him. He's getting older. Plus, the whole situation in Miami is really messy at the moment.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. It is way too messy for me with everything that's going on, all the drama. We don't know where he's going to end up. I keep hearing so many different reports that I just don't even know what to think. But I'm in the same boat. I am avoiding completely. But I totally understand how some people would be wanting to buy low.
Yeah, I get it as well. Good for those that will take the plunge, will take a risk, and hopefully it does pay off for you. But for me, particularly in leagues where I'm doing okay and I'm sitting okay in the standings, I'm going to be okay with not trading for him at the moment. I'm probably going to be doing the opposite and hoping that someone would like to buy low. And maybe if I do have him, I have him in one of my 13 leagues. I might see if I can ship him off. If there's any word, perhaps people read into rumors as well. There's any word that trade is imminent. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, buy low for some, for me or for you as well. We're going to avoid right now. Just some Jimmy Butler trades in the last 24 hours. Thank you, Yahoo, as well. But Jimmy Butler for Lauri Markkanen. I'm going to ask you your opinion and who would you rather for each of these scenarios, but Butler or Markkanen?
It's a kind of similar situation with both of these guys where, but I'd probably lean Markkanen, and then I would wait to sell high and then get rid of Markkanen.
Yeah, Markkanen and Utah shenanigans or Butler and Miami shenanigans and imminent trade. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I'll probably go Markkanen as well. In a roto, absolutely Markkanen. In a head-to-head, I don't know. I'll get back to you. Butler or quickly? I'm going quickly there.
Same.
Butler or Bane?
Bane.
Same. Butler or Kessler? It's a no-brainer for me, particularly in a category league. That's got to be Kessler. Butler or D'Lo? This is interesting.
It is interesting because exactly he is on the Nets now, so I see more opportunities. Dealing with an injury, but I don't know. I would think I'd rather stick with Butler, see if I can get someone better.
All right. Yep. So name value right there. Butler or Levine?
Levine.
Yeah, we're going to speak about Zach LaVine very shortly. He's on our sell high list, but yeah, I'd probably lean Levine as well, quite comfortably. Butler or Austin Reeves?
Reeves has been doing a lot better lately, so I'm going to go Reeves.
Yep. And finally, Butler or Monk, another guy that's on our sell high list.
Ah, he's been really good. Mm, I just don't know how sustainable. Probably Butler.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, that one might come to
I like
bite me
it.
though. That's a tricky one.
That is a tricky one. That is tricky. I
Yeah.
probably would go Butler as well. Now, getting to our sell highs, starting with Anthony Simons and his teammate Jenny Abdia, but we'll go through line by line starting right now. Anthony Simons has been on an absolute tear in the last month, but particularly in the last 7 days. He's shooting the lights out, but he's a sell high not only because these shooting splits are unsustainable, but also I expect Blazers shenanigans. I'm going to use that term,
Mhm.
shenanigans. I expect it. We saw it last season. I expect to see it again this season.
Yeah, I think so too. But like even look at the offensive categories, like 29 points per game,
Okay.
5.7 threes over the past 7 days. Just that's 3 games. But still, that's completely unsustainable. That's going to
Yeah.
come back down to earth. I mean, he's hitting almost three threes per game, so he's going to hover around that mark. And even the points, he's been under 20. So the fact that he's almost at 30, no way.
Yeah, he's that type of player as well. He can just go ballistic, and on any
Mhm.
given night, he can be easily their best player. And I still think he is their best player. But yeah, I just don't think he can sustain this whatsoever. So absolute sell high. His teammate, Denny Avdia, he's had a really nice fortnight. And what does it come down to, Kayla? What can you pinpoint this on?
Honestly, even just looking across the board, like it's a lot of things. The efficiency categories are up. Free throw percentage is perfect over the past 7 days, but low volume, of course. Field goal percentage, he's hitting over 50%. His points are up by quite a bit. Even his rebounds, he's looked really good there. Assists slightly up. Even steals, 1.7 from 1. So he's looking good. I think he's going to cool down a little bit, but overall, he's had some strong play so far.
Jeremy Grant, in and out of the team, injury or fake injury or whatever it may be, shenanigans. I'll use the term shenanigans again. I expect Jeremy Grant again for probably the 5th season in a row to start sitting towards the end of the season. It's happening already, but it'll happen even more so if he's still with the Trailblazers. Do you think that would help Avdia's value moving forward?
I think definitely. I mean, he's looked really good with Jeremy Grant out. So when he sits at some point down the stretch, Avdia's going to look great again.
Yeah, but right now, sell high. Next guy, Zach LaVine, the aforementioned Zach LaVine. Yeah, again, been on an absolute tear, but he's actually been fantastic all season.
He actually has. And I think a part of that is just because the Bulls are trying to up his trade value.
Hmm.
So I think that could be a reason for it. Don't know what's going to happen with him,
We've heard
but
that before, though. We've heard it
we
before.
have. There's so many rumors. I'm not even going to try to predict what's going to happen. But I mean, he's playing really well right now. I think it's a perfect time to sell high, like 33.3 points per game, like over 30 for the past 14 days. That's looking
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's helped that Ayo Dosunmu has been injured as well.
Yeah.
So he's had more to do. But yeah, he's just been really good all season. But yeah, he is a sell high, but I wouldn't be selling. If you could get yourself a top 20 guy or a top 30 guy, I would do that. Particularly, as you said, there's those trade rumors, and we saw it last season. They're going to look to, they may look to sit him closer to trade deadline. I don't know. He's a good player. I've always liked Zach LaVine, very efficient sort of guy. Um, so who knows what happens with the Bulls this season? They just love mediocrity, and who knows what will happen around trade deadline. But
Mhm.
yeah, sell high. Again, the aforementioned Larry Markkinen. At any opportunity that he has a big game, which he did yesterday, I'm looking to sell. You look at those numbers in the last 7 days, 14 days, 30, pretty consistent. But the games played is going to be concerning towards the end of the season.
Yeah, that's exactly what it comes down to. Just down the stretch, all the silly season shenanigans. And that's why you really have to capitalize after a good stretch of games or a good game. Right after this show, I'm going to go see if I can offload him because I drafted him in a couple of leagues.
Yeah, probably got him in round 3 or round 4. So that overall
Mhm.
season record 71, disappointing. It is disappointing. It's field goal percentage. We didn't expect him to be sort of in the mid to low 40%. Closer to 50% would have been nice. But yeah, disappointing season. But I would be looking to sell high at any opportunity in a head to head. Trey Murphy, been out, missed the last game. I think he's questionable for today's game as well. Sell high just because he has been on an absolute shooting bonanza, but also Zion is back and Brandon Ingram still needs to return to this team.
Yeah, he's looked really good offensively, and that was because of a lot of injuries that the Pelicans have been dealing with throughout the season. Yeah, he's dealing with that ankle injury. I don't think it's anything too serious though, especially if he's labeled questionable for the next game. But still, yeah, once those Pelicans start returning, it's going to impact his value. And there's still
Isn't it
trade rumors
crazy?
too, which could affect that as well.
There's still trade rumors,
Yeah.
but it's crazy looking at that rank, and there is still room for improvement with that field goal percentage as well. But yeah, he's
Mhm.
just been shooting threes like crazy. But yeah, very very valuable, just solid across the board. And I loved him coming into the season, and he hasn't disappointed. Next guy, his teammate CJ McCollum, similar reasons. Just been on a tear recently. Yesterday had a bit of a stinker in Zion's return, but if you were looking at more than, or you're looking beyond that, just last game, I think he still is a sell high.
I think so too. And we all know that recency bias is a little bit of a factor. But I mean, when you're looking at the rankings over the past 7 days of 17, the past 14 days of 33, I mean, that's a lot higher than the season ranking of almost 80. So I think looking at a whole, it's gonna make a difference.
Yeah, and I don't know the exact stats, but having that whole Pelicans team healthy, I don't know how many times they've actually all played together. Ingram, Zion, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, they've all been in and out at various stages of the season. So it will be interesting. And I think McCollum's going to get quite a bit of a haircut when they all do return to that lineup.
Even look at the threes too, like 5 per game. No way.
Yeah, unsustainable. Something that is also unsustainable is Malik Monk's form over the last week. We know that De'Aaron Fox has been out as well. So that's given Malik Monk more to do.
Yeah, he's looked fantastic over the past few games, like 25 points per game. His assists have been phenomenal. And we know that De'Aaron Fox has been missing a couple of games, but I mean, it's really elevated his value. And I think he's only like 71% rostered last I checked, which is crazy to me. So if you can, pick him
Yeah,
up and then sell high.
pick him up. I looked at that season rank on. I can't believe he's ranked that high.
Mhm.
77th on the season, fantastic, and he could be one of the waiver wire pickups of the season. But look at those steals over the last 7 days. 2.0 steals is just insane. I don't know if it's got anything to do with Ellis being in the starting lineup, getting those deflections, and perhaps even helping guys like Malik Monk. But yeah, they've looked a lot better since the change of coach as well, and De'Aaron Fox still to come back into the team.
Even his efficiency too has been looking really good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Next one, Desmond Bain. He was on our buy low list a lot over the last
Mhm.
few weeks, but now he's actually turned it all around. He's on our sell high list.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot better, and that comes down to injuries that the Grizzlies are dealing with. Ja Morant sidelined, Marcus Smart sidelined, so they're pretty shorthanded in their backcourt. That's also why his assists are a dark green with 8.3 over the past 7 days. He's taking that lead role offensively, 25 points, and he's still giving you those defensive stocks too. So great two-way guy.
Great two-way guy. We saw it all season last season when Ja Morant was out of the team and Bain had to step up. But yeah, it's been quite a disappointing season up to this point, but he's turning it around at the right time. But also think of Santi Aldama. I know they don't play in the same position, but just more shots for Desmond Bain as well. But yeah, Smart and Ja Morant, they're the main two there. And my poster boy, Amen Thompson. Everyone knows how high I was on Amen. It has taken an unfortunate injury to Jabari Smith for him to be catapulted into the starting lineup. But look at the last two games where he has started, just absolutely insane numbers. But yeah, double double, but big double doubles as well. 20 points, 15 rebounds, and defensive stats. Great field goal percentage. Inconsistent from the free throw line. We know that about him. Doesn't shoot threes, but he's looked awesome. But I still think he's a sell high. As much as I love him and he is my poster boy, and I think he's a sell high.
I think so too. There's still a couple of Rockets players who have to return from injury. We were talking about Tari Eason, which
Mhm.
will impact him as well. I think Aman will still be starting, but when you add another player, like it's gonna affect him slightly. But yeah, he's looked really good. Like 2 straight double doubles, 4 steals over the past 2 games. We know what he's capable of, and when he's given that runway, he's like amazing.
And it's not just about the numbers that we see on the screen, but it's also about the hype. We're seeing a lot of stuff being said in the media about his athleticism, and it's true. He's an exciting guy to watch, fantastic. And I think the highlight reel is really boosting that value as well. It's not just the numbers that we see in front of us, but it's the highlight reels, it's the athleticism. It's guys like Steven Adams saying, I've never seen anyone like this ever in my career. So if you can sell high, if you can get yourself perhaps a top 40 guy, and I'll give you some examples of some trades that have happened in the last 24 hours. Evan Mobley, you would do that in a jiffy.
I would do Mobley and Kyrie, 100%.
You would do Mobley, Kyrie, DeRozan. That's an interesting one. Which way would you go here?
I would probably lean towards Amen. And the same thing for the VanVleet one too. I would go with Amen.
Oh, that's interesting. Amen over Van Vliet, teammates and potential future point guard for the Houston. It could be handing the baton over to Amen at some stage. But yeah, that's interesting. It may depend on your team build in a category league, and it may depend on your scoring system in a points league. But yeah, that's an interesting take. Him and his brother for Josh Hart. Interesting. Josh Hart's had a massive season so far.
He's looked really good. I would probably do Hart actually.
Yeah, I'll do Hart. I'll do Hart.
Yeah, but
And
then again,
Amen and
Ivy's out.
Tobias. Ivy is out. Asar missed the last game. Asar did look good in the previous game that he did play. It
Probably
would be
still
interesting. It's still hard, unless it was perhaps a super deep league. Amen and Tobias for Paul George. Whew.
Give me Amen and Tobias.
Oh, I'm into that. Although I am quite impressed by Paul George, and he's gone in the right direction. But yeah, I do love Amen at the moment. All right, there we have it. There we have it. A quick one today, Kayla. But any final thoughts? What else is going on?
I have a podcast, BBB, with Yuri Ono. We have something coming out later today, so keep an eye out for that. And also keep an eye out for trade rumors too. It's going to play a big factor on what happens this fantasy season.
Trade rumors will be big. We will look to have a trade deadline show as well, like we did last season. It will be super exciting. Hopefully, we'll get some guests on as well. So keep your eyes out for some more details leading up to that. Obviously, give us a like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Like us on Twitter, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and of course, all other streaming services. But until next time, Kayla, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Until
you.
next time. See you later.
See you then.
Bye.